Hello and welcome to episode 62 of In PS We Trust, a PlayStation podcast. My name's Davey, and joined with me, as always, is the fine wine himself, Philip Hoy.
Phil who?
We're not doing that anymore. We're past the gloating stage. It's done. It's done. I put up with one episode.
Just wanted to remind you at the start of the show that I am still king. I'm king for 10 episodes, right? Until we get to the next big quiz, I am king. But I'm not going to rub it in this episode, so I've mentioned it now. It's out of the way. We can move on.
Good. Yeah, put it behind us. Do you know what? I don't want to hear about it again.
I'm sick of it, mate.
Yeah, I'm glad you are too, Spence. Yeah. Thank God. And join with me on my right, the pride of In PS We Trust, the up-and-comer, the guy who's grinding away in the fields of PlayStation just to bring us back some trophy news and come back with some hot takes on what he's been playing, Mr. Spencer Davis. How the devil are you today?
I'm good. I don't know how true everything you just said is. And the up-and-comer, I've been here since day one, so that sucks.
Yeah, but you've only won one quiz, right? So
Well,
you still are. You're a novice. You're a novice.
I can't believe I've won one.
Yeah, it was a shock to all of us, I think. But anyway, guys, we are here, episode 62. We got a fantastic episode ahead of you today. We got stacks of news. Rumour has it is coming back. And we got a hot, spicy topic, if I do say so myself, concerning Hogwarts Legacy. And that is an absolute shitstorm online. So that'd be quite a nice one to unpack with you guys. But before we get into any of that, Phil, it's your question today. And we always start the show off with a question. What are you bringing to the table?
Well, Davey, I thought we've been doing this for a little while, and we've missed out some pretty obvious hypotheticals. So I'm going to give you guys a classic, but I'm going to twist it slightly. Are you up for that?
Oh, yeah.
Always, yeah, always.
Okay, guys. You are stranded on a desert island. I want to know, what item are you taking? But the twist is, it's a video game island. So I want to know which island you're going to, and what are you taking?
All right, I think I can run with this. The island I'd like to land on would be the island from Jack and Daxter from the first game there, right? Where it's just a real, it's a lovely tropical island, and generally there's not that many threats. Like, this is the thing I was thinking of. Like, you wouldn't want to land on Horizons Island because you're dead, like, immediately. You know, especially me, I would die on just a normal island if it was just surrounded by crabs, right? And just the odd maybe coconut tree, because they kill more people than like sharks per year. I'd definitely be that statistic, right? So I'm thinking, somewhere like that, Jack and Daxter, it's lovely. There's lovely little background music all the time as you're walking around. And the item I bring with me, I think the thing that would make the most sense for me would be like a Bear Grylls survival, one of those like strikers, so you can make fire.
Oh, I do know what you mean.
I wouldn't.
But I was just going to stop you there because I thought you were going to go a Bear Grylls survival pack.
Yeah.
Right? I thought you were going to try and twist the rules a little bit.
No.
You can have one item. So if it's just the thing that you can make fire with, I'll allow that one. So carry on.
Yeah, I think that would be enough because, a sharp stick, that's enough. You don't need to bring a knife with you. I think you could do quite a lot with a stick. You could sharpen that into something. What you do is you go out and you bludgeon like a turtle to death immediately because they can't do anything about it. And then what you do is you use your turtle to then scrape like the side of a tree to like sharpen that up. And that's what you use then. That's your stick and that's your stabber then. And you're good to go. But the only thing that makes it better, makes you safe at night, fire. You need to have that bit. They hate fire animals, don't they? They hate it. So if I could have that all round and it's on a video game island where Jack doesn't have fire powers, or not at that point anyway, they won't have a fucking clue what to do. They'd be totally lost. And I would be safe.
So you're going in overpowered when you first walk onto the island. That's what you're saying.
Totally busted, yeah. Unless I can't work the striker, in which case
I bet you couldn't as well.
It's game over at that point, yeah. It's ropes.
We've been to download with you. You couldn't even put up a tent.
There was one point I couldn't work a bottle opener.
That's bad.
So maybe a striker's way too above my level, but there's only one way to find out, and that's what I'd bring to the mix.
Why don't you just take a lighter?
Because it runs out.
Or a pack of lighters?
Exactly right. A lighter runs
They run out eventually, don't they?
Mm.
As I said, a pack of lighters.
They still run out eventually. It's not like an infinite supply.
Yeah.
I mean, a striker, I think a striker still gets worn down.
Quite a while though, isn't it?
I don't know. I don't know.
I imagine it's quite a bit.
Your forearms would be huge.
Massive, yeah, massive. I think the idea of rubbing sticks together to make fire it's barbaric, and I simply won't do it. I refuse. I refuse. I'm not going back to like caveman style on this. I'm taking one modern kit, and it's that. Could be anything in the world. Could have asked for a phone. And
A phone.
A
flare gun.
Yeah, a flare gun would have done it, wouldn't it? But no, I'd just have a striker.
A boat.
Oh, boat.
A kayak, mate.
Kayak.
A kayak.
Yes.
A kayak.
Yeah, shit.
Well, the thing that made me think of this question was that actually the Domino's Pizza advert in the UK. So there's 3 guys stranded on a desert island, and they're all looking haggard with time, and they're looking hungry, and they're looking out to sea, and one of them just goes, Domino. And a guy on a speedboat comes along, or a jet ski, and delivers some Dominoes. So potentially, you wouldn't even need anything to order a Dominoes on a desert island.
Well, that's fair. Well, that would sort me out. I mean, I don't know how much scurvy prevention you get with the Dominoes. The tomato sauce, I mean, if you order just a tomato-based pizza, just nothing else but tomato, probably would do the job, I imagine. But scurvy's still going to be a real factor here.
You'll have to have oranges on your pizza. You know, people really hate pineapple on a pizza. Yeah. You're going to have oranges, because that avoids scurvy, apparently.
It does, yeah, it's true.
Yeah, or limes.
That's like a one-to-one solve that problem. I'm going to eat I've got scurvy, so I'm eating an orange. Solved.
Yeah, yeah. Do you know, I bet there's some freaks out there that do put that kind of stuff on their pizza as well. Like, you worked in Domino's. Did you see any freaky ass orders?
Yeah, you get weird orders, but it's only ingredients we already have. We're not going to pop into Tesco buying a bag of oranges so this one customer can be happy. No. What they do with the pizza when they have
door to co-op.
Yeah, absolutely not. But there's some minging orders, some disgusting ones. But nothing like that. Pineapple's always it gets.
It's like when people say they don't like cheese. And I think, just grow up.
Rats, bruv.
Just grow up, you know? Like
opposite of rats, actually.
What's wrong with you? If you don't like cheese, you must, like, the amount of meals that must get immediately struck off your potential options if you don't like cheese are just wild. Like, absolutely wild. It's just...
And there's so many cheeses out there.
Yeah.
But anyway, we are digressing on a digress. Let's move it back onto topic, or back onto the hypothetical. Spencer, coming over to you. You've had a while to think. What island are you going to? And one item, are you taking with you?
Yeah, I knew my answer immediately anyway. I did have to do a quick Google to make sure that was the name of the island I was thinking of, and I was right. It's Destiny Islands from Kingdom Hearts. Very opening of the game. You do revisit at some points as well. But the island is huge. There's plentiful trees with fruits. There's there's a cool cave you can get in. There's a tree house you can live in. It's actually sick. And the item I would take is a gun with 1 bullet. I wouldn't. That's not what I take. That's not what I take.
Jesus, that got deep real quick.
So dark immediately.
It's not what I would take. What I would take is just an industrial water filter.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, because you can get food from the fruit, from animals. You can fucking kill them. And you can make fire. You can make fire. You don't need a fucking fire starter. They've been teaching it since caveman days. And you can kill shit with fucking... I got thumbs, bro. I got my thumbs out.
That's true.
I can kill any animal with my thumbs. So all I need is filtered water.
But with the striker, right? With the striker, you make the fire, right? And what you do is the fire that's left, you know, like the scraps of tinder, yeah. Charcoal, right?
Mm.
So all you do is you just put that in your water and just drain it through that. Done. And that's filtration right there. That's filtration 101.
How will that taste?
Like charcoal, yeah. It tastes like shit.
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'll stick with my Brita, bro.
Yeah. You
That's crazy.
Job, yeah.
Were you guys ever around when I had charcoal filtered vodka?
Yes.
Because that stuff was trash. I don't want anything filtered by charcoal.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's one of those things that even though I was completely white girl wasted that night, that memory of that taste of that like $8.99 bottle of vodka, like the cheapest thing for like a litre ever.
Oh,
vodka.
It wasn't cheap. It was from Waitrose, if I remember.
Waitrose?
My memory's good.
Oh.
It was Waitrose charcoal filtered vodka. And it was disgusting.
Terrible. Absolutely terrible.
So it's more like $12.99.
Yeah, that is rancid. I would never. Absolutely never. Phil, mate, where are you going and what are you taking?
Okay, I've had a little bit more time than you guys to think about this one. And I was going through all the islands. I was thinking, do I want to go to Dead Island? I mean, the women look good, don't they? But they haven't got heads, right? Probably not the best place I want to go. So I was thinking back, casting my memories back to the retro games. So I think I want to go to the Super Mario World island. Okay, it's a bunch of islands, but it's still an island, okay? And the thing I'm taking with me, because it was the most overpowered item in all of Mario, was that green boot. Do you remember the green boot that Mario used to sit in? And his eyes would just poke out the top, and his little hat? Well, I'm into shoes, right? I've got a massive collection of trainers, and I'm going in with a big green boot and kicking some butt, some Goomba butt. Out of the islands, I'm heading straight over to Chocolate Island, getting my fill. Then over to Illusion Island for a bit of entertainment. And then to finish my day off, I'm riding some dolphins. Because you could just do that in Super Mario World. There's so much to entertain yourself with. And if you're hungry, there's a copious amount of mushrooms wherever you hit a block.
What about when,
How about that,
when
guys?
you run out of blocks? And you have to eat mushrooms what if they're psychedelic, bro?
What about you could start moving on to Toad then, can't you? Loads of
Start eating
toads.
toads.
Yeah, start eating, and they'll be like, no! And you're like,
Oh, I thought you meant actual Toad.
No, yeah, it means like Toad's
Because he's a
character.
mushroom as well.
Yeah, that is what you mean.
Some mushrooms just make you grow, right? Big and healthy. Some mushrooms talk. So you got to pick them right, haven't you?
Well, it might have little column A, little column B, especially when you get big. Then you might get a bit hungry.
How big do you get?
Yeah, and Toad, he's quite stout, isn't he? He's quite girthy, Toad. And, you know, you could chuck a couple of them straight in your gob. If you like giant size. And they're like, no! And just eating them. Be great. Great times. That's a absolutely fantastic answer, though, Phil.
I think fantastic answer for the island. I'm not sure about the green boot. I think you could probably do better than the boot.
That green boot is something else. Have you ever played Super Mario? I think it's 3 with the green boot.
It's my favorite
You're
Mario.
just invincible. And then the sound it makes when it hits those motherfuckers. Thump. It's just great. I would just love a big green boot. And you could live in that boot as well. And it looks waterproof to me.
It's probably a Wellington, isn't it? So, you know, you just chuck it upside down.
Yeah.
And you're good to go, aren't you? You know, there's natural protection there. I can see it. I really rate this. I really rate that idea. Great one. I'll stick with my fire thing now. I'm committed to it now. If anything, I might buy one for myself. I might just
play
buy.
with.
Yeah, I might just buy one and just start fires. And you know,
Well, that's the thing. If I need fire, I just pick up a little plant.
yeah,
That's true. Fire flower. Oh,
You know, it's all there on the Super Mario Island. Trust me.
yeah, he's done us.
Well, anyway, I think we've come to the end of that conversation. Listeners, if you have a favorite island which you want to visit in video game history, please let us know. And let us know what item you are taking. Is it better than my big green boot, David's firelighter, or whatever Spencer took with him to his island?
Filter.
Let us know on the email.
Right. Well, with that out of the way, let's find out what you guys are bringing to the table. What drinks are you having today? Now, Spencer, I'm going to start with yourself, not just because it's tradition, but also because I supplied you with this beverage. And it's a beverage that I've talked about on the show many a time whenever we've had a sober episode. And I swear, Aldi, I'm looking for that sponsorship on this. Because we are both having Tropical Blast Orange Zero. So it's a lilt substitute, zero sugar. And my wife thinks it tastes like dishwater. I don't know what the hell is wrong with her taste buds. Because to me, it's a solid. I rate this real high. Up there with the real thing. How did you find it, Spence? Over to you for your expert taste on this.
I'm just letting it. Hang on.
Good year, that.
Are you sipping it and then spitting it out like wine? Let it roll over your tongue.
Absolutely not. And I would
Put it
never
under your
do
nose.
that
Give it
at
a little
wine tasting
swirl.
as well. If I was at a wine tasting, I would never spit it out. What a waste. I'd be livid if they made me do that. Fuming. I think it's nice. I'm not gonna lie. It's better than, tell you what, I rated really high the Orange Crush
Yeah.
that I always drink. This is better.
Oh,
Definitely better. However, it is also out of a can.
it is.
Whereas I was drinking out of a 2-litre bottle, and I find that most beverages are better out of a can than a 2-litre bottle.
Yeah. 2-litre bottle's got to be the lowest of the low, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's got to be. Or a carton. You know, if you have like a carton, like a straw that you push it through, like a Capri Sun. That's always
I don't know, Capri-Sun bangs.
low.
What about those little cans? Because there's not much in them,
I hate
and you've got the
those.
potential, as we talked about in a couple of episodes ago, where you could catch your top lip or you could catch the hair on the top of your lip. Nightmare, and you don't get a lot of drink. So it's a double whammy.
The risk reward just isn't there, is it? You know, you expect to at least have a certain amount of sips out of a full-size can. But if you've got a little mini one, you're dicing with it. For those 2 times, if one of those messes up, it's GG's. You know, that's a 50-50 risk ratio that I'm just not happy with.
I'll tell you what, those little fucking cans, mine, piss me off. Piss me off. My mum, when she used to pack me lunch boxes for school, used to have one of those little cans in there. Those cans are fucking tiny, man. You need like 6 of them to actually like...
Get it out,
Stop
Spence.
it.
You've waited all this
Bro.
time just to have a go. Here you go. You're amongst friends. Let's hear it.
Mate, I forgot about them. I mean, I walk past them all the time in Asda and thing. They're like, what, 30p? And it's like, they're like this big, bro.
Yeah,
They
diddy, yeah.
absolutely piss me off. Like, who the fuck's buying those? Who's buying those? Unless you're buying 10 of them, what are you doing? You're still going to be thirsty. It's not enough. I hate them. I think they're the most stupid fucking thing to ever be released. What a waste. Sorry. Moving on.
Get it all out, Spence. I think ultimately, with these little mini cans, the plus point to them on the market is that you could try something, and if you don't like it, you've only got a tiny little bit there. You don't have to waste a full can. So I remember the first time when Coke Vanilla came into the UK, years and years ago, and I bought one of those little mini cans. They had them in Woolworths. And I was like, oh, this deserves a full 750ml bottle. And just go and grab one off the shelf. Done, right? Whereas that could have gone disastrously. You know, I could have just been walking around with this thing looking for a bin. Like, oh, Jesus Christ. Whereas that's the benefit to it. But these days, kids can't take stuff like that into school. They can't take Coke cans and that.
No, they can't.
Your
no.
mum... So, technically,
You smuggled it in.
you snuggled it in.
Smuggled it in, mate.
Oh,
Up my
Jesus.
arse.
Oh, Christ. You love your Coke.
It was
Scott.
an easy fit, to be fair, because they were quite small. That's the plus.
Wow. We'll leave that there. Phil, what about yourself? What are you drinking today?
Well, Davey, I'm glad you asked. And just to fill the listeners in on the reason we're having a sober episode, we are recording early. We're recording on a Thursday. We are on it straight away. We're going Thursday night recording purely because we normally record on a Friday and we're going large Friday night for your birthday, Davey.
We are indeed. We're off to the high heights of Birmingham for the weekend. So it's going to be a wet and wild weekend. We're all sharing an apartment. It's going to be pretty goddamn messy. And yeah, I'm not drinking the day before we start 2 monumental drinking sessions. There's no chance.
Definitely not.
No way.
I've been drinking all week, boys. I've been drinking every night.
You're still in your 20s, mate. It gets harder. When you hit 30, I don't know what it is. It's like the fucking great divide. It's like this moment where you just step in, you realise that hangovers don't last a day anymore. Now it's like a week. It's a commitment going on a drink session.
yeah.
Savage. It's absolutely...
The older you get, the longer they take, honestly, to get over them. Really, really sucks, man.
Oh.
Don't get old.
I
Just end it now.
yeah.
miss out on all those nights. Oh, can't.
Oh,
Can't.
dear God.
We sludge through the days so we can get to the points. That's what we do. That's why life's worth living.
You are very philosophical today. There's
When it
something
comes to
about you,
pints, yes. Anything for a beverage.
yeah. Jesus. So what are you actually drinking today then, Phil?
Well, Davey, I'm glad we're moving past that conversation quite quickly. I'm straight onto the cup of tea tonight in my Guardians of the Galaxy mug that I got at Universal a couple of years back. So it's a large mug, so it'll keep me going for the entirety of the show, probably, if I keep sipping it in between talking to you boys. But one thing I do want to point out, a little omission, the barber's done me well dirty here, hasn't he? Look at this.
What's that about? Yeah.
I didn't
say
say
notice
anything,
it
but I
earlier.
noticed it. Yeah.
Yeah, like straight away. Like, I thought, go out, get the haircut, get the fade ready for the weekend.
So he
Look at this.
yeah, he's trying all round here as well. Like you're coming up with it, aren't
He
you?
has, he's got me. Look at that. It's even worse that side. That's why
Yeah.
I'm looking this way.
Jesus.
He's got me.
You want to just put some moisturizer on that, rub it in at night, ice pack maybe?
I will be. Double moisturised tonight, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, definitely.
The thing is, I went for a slightly different barber today because I normally book the one guy and he was out. He was a little bit late into the office. So I went with the other guy and he's a bit rough-handed, he is. He's not used to my delicate skin.
He's used to cutting 20-year-old skin. as soon as you get past that and into your 30s, it just starts thinning up, doesn't it? It's like all a thorn has to do is look at me wrong now, and I just get cuts. I'm like, oh shit! I couldn't be Jesus, mate. Couldn't be having that crown on my head. My head would be gone. It'd be eviscerated. It'd be mush. So, we'll see how your moustache lines and your beard lines transition over the podcast. Ooh, that looks pretty nasty, though.
They might calm down by the end of the podcast. So, hopefully, fingers crossed.
Ooh. Well, on that painful note, let's move it on to what we've been playing.
This time on NPS We Trust, what have the boys been playing?
So, it's been 2 weeks since the last podcast episode, and I'm desperate to know what you guys have been up to in that time. Now, Philip Hoy, I'm going to pass it over to you for what has become a regular section on the show. Let's hear about God of War Ragnarok, and have you finally finished everything off?
Well, I'm doing it on purpose, just so we can mention it again in the description of the podcast, just for those SEO purposes. I'm drawing it out.
Yeah.
But guys, I've spent 57 hours now in the game. Do you think I've got the platinum? That's the question. And how many hours did you spend getting your platinums?
My platinum took me just shy of 53 hours. 52.49 was mine for my platinum. So I'm going to go on a wild guess and say, yes, you have.
Okay. Spence, what do you reckon? How long did you take?
Well, that's crazy, mine, because I took 52 hours as well, which is mental. I will double check when I get home, but I'm almost positive I did. So 57 hours, mate. Definitely doable. But I don't know how you played the game, so I could be surprised. But I think, yes, I think you've done it.
I love your confidence, boys, because 57 hours, I have achieved the platinum in God of War Ragnarok. That game has been uninstalled from my hard drive. It has now been put on that shelf because, yes, it's a platinum.
Ooh, that's a platinum. Well done. That's amazing. So all three of us have earned the platinum for this game now. Oh, how did you find that fight at the end? And remember, we're still keeping this spoiler free, so don't mention names, anything like that. But how did you find the challenge of overcoming that adversary?
Well, before I answer that question, I'm just going to put on note that is my 13th platinum in PlayStation.
Let's go.
There we go.
Huge.
Big 13, number 13. I know you're in the hundreds now, Davey, but that was big number 13. I don't get a lot of platinums because generally I reserve platinums for 10 out of 10 games. And last episode, and I've got a slight correction, I rated God of War a 10 out of 10. And I also, in the same sentence, because of the enthusiasm, I said Horizon was a 10 out of 10. Listening back to that episode, I was wrong. Horizon is a 9 out of 10. They're both must-plays, but the reason I rate Horizon so well is because I just prefer to play it rather than God of War. Is that okay? It's a lower rating, but I actually preferred Horizon to God of War. God of War's a 10 out of 10, but I preferred Horizon to play.
I know exactly what you mean. There's certain games that I know are definitely not like the best game, but I'll be like, oh, even though this other game is better. Like, say, for example, you got something like Elden Ring, right? And then you've got Stray. Totally different.
Kettle of fish. Insane.
Totally different kettle of fish. Elden Ring's a better game than Stray, but I'm more likely to go back to Stray
Yeah.
than I am Elden Ring at the minute. I know what you mean. It does make sense what you're coming with. You know that Ragnarok's a better game, but you prefer the experience of Horizon, and that's
100%. And I'm really interested in what happens next in Horizon. With God of War, not so much. I don't think so. For me personally, anyway. I'm sure people will criticize me in the description and the comments of the show, but we'll see how that goes. But yes, it was rather difficult, that end boss, wasn't it?
That's what those extra 5
It was
hours
rather
are. Yeah.
difficult. I'm not a Souls guy, but I felt like it was. I was trying to channel my inner Davey, my inner Spencer when I was taking on that final boss, and I've gotten a mission. To get this done for the show, I had to lower it down.
oh, he's done it.
Oh
I
my
did it.
God.
I did it. I've joined you, Davey. One of us. I had to lower it down for the last boss because that boss was something chronic. Honestly, man,
Yeah.
I could not get it. It was a big step up from everything else. And even with my ultra tuned armor, which I took the boss before down on the medium level, I couldn't touch the last boss, honestly. It was just so difficult. And I just thought, you know what? I don't want to spend another 5 hours trying to hammer through this boss, lower it down. And I still had fun.
Do you know what? I feel like a weight's been lifted off my shoulders here because, like, 2018 God of War, that was my exact experience. You know, just getting my head kicked in by, I think it was Sigrun in that game, getting absolutely destroyed by the Queen of the Valkyries at the end. And so I had to do it. And this God of War, Ragnarok, I was like, nope, I've been doing it on hard. I'm staying with hard. It's getting done. And it's just persistence. And I achieved it and it felt great, right? Felt like I kind of overcome what I did in the past. But I cannot criticize you, Phil, because I've done exactly the same thing 4 years prior. So yeah, no judgment from me. Well done on getting through it. Was it still tricky on easy?
It was still tricky. Still very tricky. Yeah, it still took me. I had, as I said, ultra-tuned armor. I went for, like, one of the builds I was going for, like, max health. One of them I was going for, like, max strength. And even then, it was taking me down to the wire to be able to beat them. Even though I'd beaten all the other bosses where he borrows a lot of the moves without being too specific, it was still a challenge.
Well, I gotta feel like as if there's something missing from the show. I mean, like, when the COD talk stopped, it was like something had left. And now God of War talk coming to an end? Well, you know what that means, guys. It means we're going to have to move on to a God of War spoiler cast soon. Sooner rather than later, please. I don't know when we're going to do it, listeners. Stay tuned to the Twitter, to all our socials. We will let you know, but we will prioritize getting this out fairly quickly. We'll just see how our schedules can all mesh together. Anything else that you've been playing, Phil?
I'm glad you asked, because I've played a small, very minute amount of Callisto Protocol.
Oh.
And for the time I've spent within the game, I am very impressed. The graphics look stunning because the first part of the game, not to give anything away, is very cinematic. And I haven't done a lot, but I've spent about an hour in the game, and I'm loving it.
Fantastic.
That's huge.
If I didn't hear your reviews about it, I would have been rating this very highly for the hour I've spent in it. But we'll see how the game twists now and changes, and hopefully my opinion of the game doesn't dip, because at the moment I'm really invested. I thought it had a brilliant opening to it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it does too. For me, I think it was one of those, it was a declining slope, really, for me. Like, the longer I played it, the more I saw the flaws and the more I saw the issues with it. But hopefully that's not the same with you. Hopefully you just, you get to the end of it and you're like, guys, Davey, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. This game's immense, right? I'd love for you to enjoy it because I don't want anyone to play something and they ultimately come away from the experience feeling like it didn't quite hit the mark. And don't get me wrong, Callisto's not like, it's not a terrible game by any stretch, but it just isn't quite what I need it to be. It's just not quite there. There's just too many things missing for my personal taste. But I'll tell you what, I'll look forward to the next episode to hearing your thoughts on this. You'll probably have it done by then. It's not that long. So
I'd imagine so. You've said it's around sort of 8 hour playtime, right?
Yeah, say about there.
Should be possible, but we're not putting any shots on it just yet.
No challenges on this episode, please. We're going to have enough shots, I think, this weekend. I don't need to up my tally anymore. So, Spencer, over to yourself. What have you been playing these last 2 weeks?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Wow.
I've been a busy boy, man. Listeners, if you didn't know, that was his 5th take of that, asking me, by the way. He messed up every time just for me to come out saying nothing. I've been playing games with you boys, but other than that, that's it.
I suppose there's a game that we could talk about if you want to talk about the games that we've played together. We played a game called Ember.
We could talk about Ember. What I will talk about very briefly,
okay,
I didn't play it myself, but it's my girlfriend's birthday on the 20th, and I thought I should give her a present early, because otherwise it'd be quite shit, and I bought a Hogwarts Legacy Deluxe Edition. So I did watch maybe the first 2 hours of Hogwarts. She jumped inside of a wall within 5 minutes.
What, like how wizards do? When they run through walls?
No, like how games
Isn't that
do
part of
when
the
they
story?
don't work.
Oh, no.
No, yeah, it fixed
She had
itself
no clipping on, did
immediately.
she? She had the cheat.
Yeah, she literally flew straight into a wall, and we both just looked at each other just like, oh, that's not good. But it fixed itself immediately. And then after that, game seems really good. I'm not gonna, no opinions on the game or anything surrounding the game yet. We'll discuss opinions at a different point in time. But it seems good.
I think the get out of jail with that game, though, if anything strange does happen, they'll just go, it's magic. You can't complain about a bug, can you?
It's magic
because
bug.
it's wizardry. Ooh, they've put a spell on you. They get away with it.
I think that's right. And to be fair, it's not the game's fault. It's your fault for being there. If Georgia had played that on her own, it would have been fine. It would have been flawless. But as soon as the bug hunter comes around, it starts fucking fritz. It just goes on the fritz and fucks up. And I personally feel that this is your fault that happened.
I completely agree. Completely agree. It's the bug hunter, man. I haven't had a bug in a long time.
It's building up.
It's building. Now, because I'm not finding bugs, my power's spreading to those around me. That's the point.
You're like a cancer.
I am. It's going
He's
about.
infected everybody now.
Yeah. You don't want me sat next to you for too long, mate. You don't.
I'll make sure to move this on quick then. Well,
let's wrap it up. Come on. I've been Phil.
Well, I've only got one game to talk about, guys, because I've been working on a review or a couple of different reviews for YouTube, so I've been quite busy the last couple of weeks. But I did find time to play one short little gem, and it was all because of the news that we read out on the last episode about how Super Stardust Portable had added trophies. And I thought, well, I gotta check it out. I can't leave that go. So I booted it up and started it, and the trophy list looked fairly straightforward. I thought, well, I'll give it a go. I'll try it. An hour or so later, I pretty much popped everything, and I was like, oh, here we go. All I gotta do now is do it, pretty much flawlessly, and then do a couple of these side missions. And I tell you what, listeners, if you want a lovely cheeky little platinum that was really fun, really, really enjoyable throughout the entire time, get on this, because I have done the platinum. Ooh, that's a platinum. And I'm not going to lie, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. There's ways to cheat this platinum really, really easily. The game has got a pause and a replay button because it's one of these games that are emulated because it's a PSP game, so it means you can rewind. So on some of these trophies where you've got to do a flawless thing without dying for ages, that should be a real test of skill. If you die, just rewind time a little bit and play it slightly better. And it turns out it just made it a nice little breeze. I was like, oh, I can do this.
First, he turns down the difficulty setting on God of War.
Not
right, we've all done that.
2018.
Now, he's rewinding time so he can get trophies. What's next? Where's it going to stop?
I think the end point, if I let this go unchecked, will be My Name is Mayo.
Oh.
I think that's when I've hit the lowest of the low.
that's the lowest you could possibly be, really.
Right,
yeah.
Listen.
Only absolute scum has that in their platinum list,
At least I didn't also do My Name is Mayo too. There are people who have both.
Yeah.
I'm 50% scumbag.
Yeah.
I do have Chicken on the Run. That was faster than My Name is Mayo. Way faster. My Name is Mayo takes like an hour, mind. It's not that bad. There are games that are worse.
Yeah. But listeners, I'd highly recommend checking this out. If you haven't played a Super Stardust before, do it. It's exactly the same as its PS3 brethren. It's identical, really. Just a fun game to play. And if you're in trophies at the same time, great stuff all round. Can't recommend it enough. Absolutely fantastic. And I really pray that we get more of these classic games that have trophy support, because this just gave me a real reason to go back. And I came away from the experience feeling like I'd really achieved something, which is quite nice, because I played Mr. Driller, and I come away and I think, oh, wish I had a trophy for Mr. Driller, and I get nothing. So it is nice. It is nice to spur you on. But that's enough of what we've been playing. Let's move it over to the quick news.
Quick news. Quick news. That's a bit of a throwback for everybody, because we haven't done that in a very long time. But we're not doing that for this episode. We're going to keep it consistent because I've been having a lot of fun with the Impossible Karaoke. Now, to fill everybody in on the rules of Impossible Karaoke, I might ask Spencer to give me a little bit of Living on a Prayer, but we might switch it up slightly and say he's got to do it in an Irish accent. That's just an example. Don't worry, Spence, you're not living on a prayer tonight, son. But what you are doing, I'll choose the song. Davey, you're going to switch it up, okay?
Sounds good to me.
Tonight, Spence, I want you to sing The Vengabus.
The Vengabus.
Vengabus.
What am I going to give you with this then? What can I possibly do to shake this up? Joe, I like the idea of an Irish accent. Let's just throw it over to an Irish accent straight away. You never really get accents, do you, Spence? That's definitely more of a me and Phil thing.
That's because we know.
Do we?
That's because you and the listeners and the watchers and everyone who's ever met me knows can't do accents, my friend.
Well, let's put that to the test, shall we?
It's been put to the test on the last 61 episodes. All right, yeah.
The trick is, Spence, you want to think of someone with an Irish accent, or you think of a sentence that you've heard many a time said in an Irish accent, and just repeat that over and over, and then bring it in. We like to party. We like to party.
What is that song? I thought that was that song. Okay.
Whoa.
It's a banger of a tune, isn't it?
It's
Come on.
a banger of a tune. We'll listen to that on the way to Brum. You know, I don't know any Irish people. I'm fucking. All right, we ready? I'm not. Don't know why I'm turning. I am. We like to party. We like to party. We like to party. We like to party.
And in a city disco. Well done. Well done.
Thank you. Quick news. I surprised myself there. I'm actually gassed. So, guys and listeners, PlayStation Essential monthly games. We finally have them. And we also have a bit of sad news, but we'll come to that in a second. So, the PlayStation games this month are The Evil Dead, the game, for PS5, PS4, Ollie Ollie World, PS5, PS4, Destiny 2 Beyond Light, PS5, PS4, and Mafia Definitive Edition, PS4. All of those games are live now on the service. The bad news, however, I think I'll just read it verbatim and let you all just listen to what I have to say. This is a quote from the PlayStation blog. We wanted to provide an update on the PlayStation Plus collection that has been offered as a benefit to PlayStation Plus members on the PlayStation 5 since 2020. On May the 9th, the PlayStation Plus collection will no longer be offered. If you haven't redeemed the titles in this collection yet, you can still do so before May 9th, which will enable you to access those titles even after this date, for as long as you remain a PlayStation Plus member. So, get those games in your library. Otherwise, you are missing out, because the PlayStation Plus collection is a phenomenal group of games. Absolutely phenomenal. You got God of War original. You got the game that can't be mentioned, 7. You've got other games.
Monster Hunter Worlds. You got Detroit Become Human.
Yeah. You got Until Dawn. You got Uncharted 4.
Loads.
Bloodborne.
Fallout 3, I think, or Fallout 4. There's loads loads of games in there. I suppose this is a good point to ask. With the collection leaving, Spence, are you surprised about it?
Yes, very much so. I thought this was just going to be a benefit that everyone who ever comes to the PlayStation 5 family would just be entitled to. I thought PlayStation Collection would be an ongoing thing where it grows and grows, because that's what, especially during the start of PS5 launch, where we saw them add Persona 5. We saw them add, I think, Call of Duty. And they were adding games to it. And I thought, this could be a cool thing. Binned it off. Just gone now. Which is fine, because we get monthly games. And we have extra and premium. But PlayStation Collection was really nice whilst it lasted. And I've got all those games in my library anyway. So, you know, if you haven't added them, sucks to be you.
Well, you got until May 9th, right, to get them in. So you got a bit of time here. And I'm the same as yourself, right? I'm in that boat where I've got all the games redeemed, so them disappearing now doesn't make any difference to me. I think for me, I was in a different line of thinking to you. When the generation first started, I thought, right, well, this is probably going to be around for a year or so. It's a good little sweetener for those early adopters that maybe have always been on Xbox, that come over to PlayStation. Here's a host of games to get you set up, to get you started. Here we go. A nice little sweeten the deal kind of thing. But then as time went on, and they did add games to it, and they took games off, it started then to think, oh, maybe this is a real service that's going to change and evolve. But then I think, for me, the death bell was sung as soon as we got the announcement of it turning to PlayStation Essential, Extra, and Premium, because then you don't need this anymore, because they could just be featured as part of that service, right? And for me, the writing was on the wall, and I'm surprised that it's gone on as long as it has. You know, the PlayStation came out, 2020, in November, I think, and here we are, 2023, and it's going in the May. So we've had good run-ins with this. I've got no ill will towards this disappearing whatsoever, but I know somebody who may do, and that would be yourself, Mr. Hoy. Have you got any feelings about this? You're normally quite contrary to whatever, to however I feel. You normally seem to come over the opposite and say it's something. So how do you feel about the PlayStation Plus collection going?
I'm not always the outlier, but this time I actually agree with you. I didn't think it was going to be around that long, and I agree with your point about it was a little treat for the early adopters of PlayStation 5.
Oh, well, there you go. We're all unanimously on this. So we're all feeling the same way. Audience, I'd love to hear on you on this. You know, there's a few things on Twitter when this was announced where there was some outrage. You know, there's always outrage on goddamn everything. And I thought maybe we're the outliers here. Maybe we're drinking too much of that fine wine that PlayStation provide. And I'm not seeing the wood from the trees here. But maybe that's not the case. Let us know. Write into the email, pswetrust@gmail.com.
Moving on, boys. Who am I passing it to? Who wants it? Who wants to catch what I'm throwing?
Go on, chuck it over.
Yeah, you want
chuck it over. You normally go to Phil, but this gives me a chance to chuck something at Phil then.
Okay. So the song I'd like to hear from you, my friend, longtime friend. Never Gonna Give You Up, Rick Astley.
Okay.
And I'd like you to do it. My flavour. Tell me what your flavour. Davey, I want you to do it as a dog. I want you to bark it.
Okay. Quick news. Jedi Survivor has been delayed by 6 weeks till April 28th. Now, Jedi Survivor is, of course, by Respawn. It is the follow-up to Jedi Fallen Order, which came out quite a few years ago. And it's a game that I'm very, very excited by. A game that I played the original Fallen Order and really enjoyed it, but there were faults. And it seems like Survivor is finally fixing those, and it should be something that really appeals to me. Personally, with this delay, I couldn't be more grateful. It was too stacked already in that March period, in that end of Feb March period. Please delay it back. It's like the PSVR 2 comes out in 2 weeks? Delay it. Please. I've got more games I know what to do with right now. I could do with Kayak VR being a nice summer experience for me. But I don't think that's going to happen. Now, I'm not going to come to yourself, Phil, because I know that you don't give a shit about Star Wars. Spence, do you have any feelings on this?
Gratitude, mate. Gratitude. Like you said, you and I both pre-ordered PSVR 2. Comes out in 13 days, I think. What a crime. I can't afford it, man. I gotta beg. I gotta hope they take it out of my bank, on the 20th when I get paid. Because if they don't, I'm fucked. Especially after how much we're going to be spending in Brum this weekend.
Yeah.
But then, like you said, March, February, stacked months. We've got so much to play. We Were Here. Great game, by the way. We got Dead by Daylight we're playing, getting gold. I've got gold, by the way. He hasn't. Hey. Just too much shit to play. Kayak VR? Jesus. How are we going to have the time? I need it. And I need to play the original game. I still haven't yet. And I need to get that done before this game. And is it going to happen? No. No, it's not. So I don't know what I'm doing. I own the game. I got it part of PS Plus, actually. Fantastic service. But I just haven't put the time in. And I haven't had the time to put in because PlayStation treats us too damn well.
Yeah, we need them to start slapping us about a bit. What we need a summer where there's nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing for 3 months. And I think then that would give us enough time to be able to get through some of these. Because I got a real fear that we'll get to the end of this year and we'll be like, all these games we had on our shag list, we haven't had a chance. We've been doing other stuff and it's getting worrying. So more delays the better, please. You won't hear me saying this if everything gets delayed now and I got nothing for the rest of the year. But for now, I'm not angry about this. Take all the time you need, Respawn, and I'm looking forward to the finished product in April. Philip Hoy, coming across to yourself. The song I'm feeling today. I'm feeling a bit of Lost Ketchup. And if you're wondering what that song is, the song that goes, ahe, laha, lahe, lahe patula here, say ni no wa mahami and a doing la badil la bi. I say lahe, ha, lahe. Do you remember that dance track from like 2000s?
Why is it called Lost Ketchup?
That's the band's name.
What's the song called?
Don't know. That is Lost Ketchup. It's a one-hit wonder. But the good thing about it is, because it's in Spanish or whatever it is, I'm not looking for lyrical. I'm not looking for the lyrics to be there. Just the spirit of Lost Ketchup.
The spirit of Lost Ketchup.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I thought the way you'd set that up, you got something special for me, and you bring out Lost Ketchup.
Yeah.
Okay. Spence.
Your flavour, mate. Flavour for this cuisine, we'll say. I'm going to do a twist on what you gave Davey, my friend. A cat. Good old little kitty cat.
Okay. Meow. A meow. A meow. A meow. A meow. 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 Quick news. Okay, guys, it has been a difficult week for middling multiplayer games, let me tell you, because Crossfire X, it's shutting down May 18th of this year. Back 4 Blood, a game we've been playing, the developers have announced it's going, they're ending development. A game I've been playing a little bit in the background, Rumbleverse, is shutting down. That shocked me when I read that, and that's after 6 months of it being live. And also Knockout City, bye-bye. Now, guys, how do we feel about them yanking the online services away from, okay, middling games, but games nonetheless?
I'll take it. Yeah, I mean, I feel great. I feel great about it. Honestly, these games, like half of them are battle royale, battlers or whatever they are. Rumbleverse is a battle royale kind of game. Knockout City is a fucking team-based dodgeball game. It was kind of fun for an hour. They don't need servers for that. They should have just released the game and then, shut them down an hour later. Everyone would have got their fun. It was fine. But, I mean, yeah. Hopefully, these games have a service. Everyone talks about them. People are like, it's a dying genre or whatever. It kind of is. It also isn't. It depends how well it's done. But none of these developers did it well. So, kill them. Fuck it. Yeah, just kill them. Make a good one. Put the money elsewhere. Bin off the servers.
How are you feeling about it, Davey?
Well, it's always sad to see games die.
No.
No, it is. It is. Because even though it's not for us, right? And I got no interest in any of these games whatsoever. I mean, Crossfire isn't even on our thing. It's an Xbox game. But it just goes to show just how many are just up against it right now. That it's just hitting across all avenues, really. I do feel sorry because there's bound to be a small contingent of players that love it. And they're not going to be able to play it anymore. And there's no way to do it. However, I also think it should just be another warning flag for anyone trying to get into the live service games at the moment. It's a fucking difficult place to crack. Like when you're going up against things like Fortnite, Apex, Warzone, like you've got to really do something special to be able to carve out a niche and to have your own space in that place. And a dodgeball game ain't it. If it doesn't grab you and it's got some real depth immediately that you can think, oh, I'm going to spend some real time on this. Like Dead by Daylight. That's our game that we play as a live service. We play the absolute shit out of that. And it's because it's got a lot of depth. And you can see where you start off and you might think it's simple on the surface, very easy to get into. But the more time that goes on, the deeper it becomes and the more complex it is and the more there is to learn. And a game like that just doesn't have that, or if it did, it didn't convey that enough to me to get me in engaged with it. And I do feel sorry for these people, but it is what it is.
It's a horrible feeling when they take a game from underneath you, though. If you are really invested and you are one of those edge case scenarios that are playing these games. Because I remember when they took away, I think it was Transformers War of Cybertron, right? I was playing the online for that and yoink, it went away. And I was gutted because I really enjoyed that back in the day. It was a rubbish, mediocre shooting game with Transformers in it, but it was a hell of a lot of fun. And I always think when it comes to these games, when they just say, sorry, you can't play it online anymore, that they should open it up to the community. You know, I'm idealistic. I'm an old school PC guy, right? Give people the ability to run their own servers. Okay, there's still going to be some management there. There's still going to be a little bit of effort from the developers, but open it up. If that niche is that passionate about these games to be able to run their own servers, it might bring it back to life. It might then in turn earn the developers more money because of the game sales, because people want to play them on these standalone servers. It's a possibility, but I live in a dream world and that's never going to happen.
Well, I mean, saying that, you think about the game that can't be mentioned, Outbreak. And what they've done, there's a fan server that runs that. Capcom have never sent any cease and desist. They never tried to shut it down. They know about it, obviously. It's everywhere. And you can just go on and play that game. And it just works perfectly. And they're not messing with it. They're not sending anything to say you can't do this. Sure, I mean, if they actually decided they were going to bring it to modern consoles, they'd probably shut that shit down straight away. But until then, they're saying, yeah, community, just have your fun, enjoy it, and we'll stay away from it. And sure, we're not doing anything. You guys are funding it. You guys doing everything. But we're also going to just let you use the IP. You know, we're just going to turn a blind eye, pretend we don't know about it.
Unfortunately, not every developer is like Capcom in that sense. Remember what happened when people started running their own vanilla Warcraft servers?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That shit got nasty.
Not even that. Someone tried making a remake of Prime Metroid, and Nintendo, nah.
Well, and Capcom have done the same when they've tried to remake Code Veronica. There was a fan project for that. I think there's been loads of fan projects for 2, for example, that was getting a remake done, and they shut that shit down because they had one in the works, right? So as soon as there's a chance that it could lose out for them monetarily, don't get it wrong, Capcom aren't, Jesus here. They'll shut that down in a heartbeat, right? They don't give a fuck about your neighbor. They'll just shut that shit down. But if they're not making anything on it, if they're not planning on it, they let it go. And I think that's always quite a nice thing. So I think you're not being idealistic, Phil. I think that realistically, there's no reason why they couldn't do that. Just fucking dump it somewhere so that somebody could just pick up the pieces and fan fun to keep it open. Whatever. I don't think it's too much to ask.
Well, let's keep our fingers crossed then, lads. If there is, a community out there that listens to us and is a fan of these games, let's see what happens. And if you are going to be running one of the servers in the future, let us know.
Yeah.
Because we'd love to hear about that project. Moving on, I'm going to swing it back round to you, Davey.
Ooh.
So I'm going to nominate a song. Spencer's going to give you a bit of flavour.
Okay.
So, Davey, I Want It That Way by Backstreet Boys.
All right, let's say your flavour. You can actually act it out as well if you want. Your best songs come on, favourite song. Backstreet Boys, I Want It That Way. You're in the club. Yeah, and you're outside. You run back in, because that's what happens when you hear a banger. Drink a bit of your pint as you run to the floor. Don't have time to swallow. You're just singing along with a mouthful of bev. Just going.
Okay, all right.
He's painted a picture there, hasn't he?
Try not to spit it all over your shit.
There we go. Jesus, I was so conscious. I was like, don't get it on the shore. Don't get it on the mic. Please, God. Quick news. The game that Can't Be Mentioned 4 has had new gameplay footage out. Now, I don't know if you guys are the same as me on this. I have seen the footage come up, and I closed Twitter immediately. I did not want to see a goddamn thing if I can help it. Obviously, if it comes up on a showcase and we have to cover that, different kettle of fish. But I'm not going out there looking for the details. Before I go into some of the information that's been found out from this, because I don't mind knowing information, I just don't want to see it myself. Have you guys seen any of the gameplay footage? And are you keeping up to date with what's happening with the game that Can't Be Mentioned 4?
I haven't seen a thing. Like you said, I've seen the posts. Closed Twitter right away. No, I saw them announce the game. I didn't have to see anything after. That was it. You know me. Nah, 10 feet pole, mate. As far away from it as I can get. But I have seen the posts and I have seen the news. But I didn't want to see that either.
Okay, what about yourself, Mr. Hoy?
I'm completely blackout, right? So whatever you say in the next 5 minutes, it's going to be a spoiler for me. So I might have to take off my headphones and make you edit this part because I don't want to be spoiled on this game. I really don't.
Well, I'm much the same. And if this was anything that could potentially like really ruin anything for you or, you know, be a proper revelation, I wouldn't have included it. But these are some minor things that I think are going to be just really, really nice when the game eventually comes round. So, this is what we learned. This was from a Game Informer interview that they did. The game doesn't include QTEs. That's quite a big one. QTEs were major in the game that can't be mentioned before. It was the first real game that popularized them. They're everywhere, from dodging lasers to having a knife fight, boss battle, all over the place, and they're completely gone. Ashley, when it comes to her and protecting her, there's no dumpsters that you can bin her off in anymore. So you can't chuck her in the bin so you can fight enemies. They've done away with that. Ashley has no health bar, which means that chances are she can't die. So it means that it isn't a protect quest anymore, which is great. That would save a lot of frustration. There's new enemies, new side quests, which I think is quite interesting. And there's a new bolt thrower crossbow that's been added to the mix. So we've got new weapons, side quests are being added, and they've changed the way that gameplay fundamentally works in terms of protecting Ashley. Does this sound like good news to yourself, Mr. Spence Davis?
It does, other than I quite like QTEs. And you don't get them anymore, really. They're quite rare now. So I was quite looking forward to them. But it's fine, especially that one scene with the knife fight. I think that scene's so sick with the QTEs. It's really cool. And how the multiple ways you can fuck it. It's just cool. And that's gone. And one of our favourite moments, we were wetting ourselves, was at the end of the game You Can't Mention 5. The QTEs, where it was just bad. But it took us like 40 minutes to get through one cutscene.
Oh,
so
yeah.
We were cracking up and just missing all of them. Those moments, those are what QTEs give you. And that's gone. So that's fine. All the other improvements, Ashley not being fucking just a sandbag, man. Bless. Absolutely bless. I hate that shit. And now she can just fight for herself. They probably still pick her up and carry her away.
Oh, yeah.
And if they get through a door, game over. But as long as she doesn't have a health bar, class. You don't have to waste a bloody herb on her.
You can use her as a human shield.
You could. Oh, that's what I'll do as well.
Yeah, actually. Someone's shooting a gun or whatever, right near the end of the game, just park her in front. Here we go. Take this shot. Getting peppered by bullets. Leon, help! And you're like, just like...
Mate, that's the president's daughter you're talking about.
Yeah.
It is.
Got to protect her.
Nah, we don't.
No.
Absolutely not. I wish she died at the start. But that's the gameplay change I want.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And then it's just escape. That's what I want.
Oh my God, mate. No wonder you're not in the Secret Service. What about yourself, Mr. Hoyd? This news, these minor revelations, does that fill you with confidence or does that get you a little bit worried?
That's the first time I've heard of the changes, and overall I'm very pleased because the game that cannot be mentioned 4 had QTEs out the wazoo, and I did not enjoy them. And I've really liked where gaming has progressed because we don't have as many as we used to. And it's a blessing because I am one of those guys that as soon as there's a bit of story, I might do something else at the same time. I quite like a game that has a bit of story where you can sit back and occasionally text the boys back. You know, a little bit of that now and again. I am that guy. I'm sorry. But the one thing that sticks out to me the most in that update is the side quests. They're going to add more to the game. And where that goes, I'm super interested, but I don't want to know. So even if you've got any ideas, I don't want to know.
No.
Do not want to know, but that's the bit that gets me excited. Everything else I don't really mind about, but the side quests, the extra parts of this game and where it could go, mind-blowing, right?
Oh, I'm so excited for it. I mean, this is the thing. It's kind of a bit counterintuitive in a way because audience, we're much like you. We're there on Twitter looking for the newest scoops, looking for different gameplay stuff. But when it comes to a game that we're all day one sold on, that we're looking forward to, and especially as all three of us are very similarly linked on this, we're 4 just didn't really do it for us. So to see a chance that there's this much change is only filling us with more and more hype. And unfortunately, I don't want to know a goddamn thing either. So I'm going to try and keep the RE4. That doesn't count, does it? That counts, doesn't it?
That 100%
counts.
counts.
Yeah.
That
Fuck
counts.
me.
100%.
That
I was
counts.
hoping that would happen.
Resident Evil.
Oh, God. I had it onto the dock for episode 70. Jesus. But what that means is that we're going to be quite light on the coverage of this game where we can help it. Where something comes out and we have to talk about it, we have to go through it, of course we will. But for our own sake, it's going to be quite light up until release. And that's just a sign of respect of how much we're excited, I suppose, for going into this experience. But I suppose I'm passing it over to yourself then, Spence, for the next piece of news. So the song I'd like from yourself, I would like the Bob the Builder theme. Everyone knows it.
Yeah, I do. Okay. What's my flavour, Mr. Hoy?
Okay, I want you to do Bob the Builder as a giggly cheerleader.
Bit harder, but okay. Giggly cheerleader. Oh, I gotta take my top off then.
What?
Got any pom-poms?
Every time you do a girl doesn't mean you have to get naked. Come on.
It does. You got any pom-poms in your cupboard of wonders?
No.
I wouldn't be surprised if you did.
You can be a male cheerleader, Spence.
Yeah.
No, not giggly. Can't be a giggly male cheerleader.
Of course you can.
Why couldn't you be a giggly male cheerleader?
Yeah, what the hell does that mean?
It means you can't. I'm standing by it. I'm not going to get, oh, sorry. No, you can't. The only reason it'd be giggly is when he chucks him in the air and he sees a bit of something. It's the only time. Never been a cheerleader, if you couldn't gather. They don't really exist in the UK.
No, we don't really have them. We
No.
do have.
Not really.
Yeah. One of my friends in work, not to derail us too much. She runs like a little brigade. I think that's what they call the brigade.
Brigade?
I think so, of cheerleaders. Yeah.
Storm the bloody...
Storm the wall, storm the front lines. Cheer you up. But yeah, they go around and tour and stuff, and they compete against each other in different cheer offs, like that movie where they do that. Yeah, more
Bring
you
it
know.
on. Bring it on.
Yeah, and there are boys in that as well. I
Yeah.
don't know if they're giggly. I'll ask next time.
Definitely not giggly. All right, I guess I'm a cheerleader. I'll have to stand up.
It's so funny that giggly is the problem here.
Yeah, yeah, that's the issue.
I'm not a very giggly person. All right. So we know Bob the Builder, innit?
Yeah.
Can I be a female one, though? I feel like it's easy to be a female one, isn't it? I will be.
Oh,
I didn't specify. Take it wherever you want it to go, Spence.
Bob the Builder, can we fix it? Bob the Builder, yes we can. Give me a B.
B.
Give me an O.
O.
Give me a B.
B.
He'll fix it. Bob the Builder, can he fix it? Bob the Builder.
yes, he can.
Scoop. Oh, I don't know. The
Da-da-na-na-na-na. So much fun working together
to get the job done.
Bob the Builder, can we fix it?
It actually goes hard, mind.
It does.
It's
It-
such a
it just
hard song.
doesn't stop.
Yeah. Quick news. There has been a recent PS5 beta released, little software beta, and beta testers can take advantage of some of the new features. Those features are Discord. Finally here. In beta, anyway. VRR support for 1440p. You can manually upload game captures to the PlayStation app, and you can easily access your PlayStation 4 save data on the PS5. But obviously, lads, the big news there is the one I kind of put a bit of sauce on. Discord. Discord. We talked about this ages ago as a rumor. Bit of a conversation about how it might work. And now it's here. It exists. So, what are your thoughts? Are you quite keen? You happy to finally have a voice chat in your crossplay? That's not horrendous in-game voice chat, which every game has.
I think, we covered this a few episodes ago, and the big kind of way we went with it was all kind of speculating on how it's actually going to work. In terms of, is it going to be seamlessly integrated? Is it going to be its own separate thing? How's all the different features of Discord going to come across. And this news today this news from the beta test, sorry, not today. This news that we're reading out today, just confirms really that it works seamlessly in terms of you sync up your existing Discord account with your PlayStation account, and it just means you can enter chat. So you can't do any of the other stuff that we spoke about quite a bit at length in terms of, what happens if you got all the different benefits and, I can't remember what they call it now.
It's called Nitro.
Nitro, that's the one. It's none of that. It's literally just a case of you can go in there and chat to your buddies. And I think that's all I needed it to be. So I was really happy with this.
Yeah. Phil, what about you?
I mean, it's cool, isn't it, to have Discord on PlayStation? But ultimately, I don't know if it's going to affect the way we play together.
No.
Ultimately, because we're all on PlayStation and the chat's fine. Okay? There might be a bit of echo on Davey's mic now and again, but that's Davey's problem. Well, it's actually my problem, because every time it happens, I have to tell him to turn it down. But ultimately, having Discord on there, it's not going to change my life at the moment, really. But we'll see. We'll see for the future. We might make some friends on other systems which we want to talk to.
Yeah, exactly right. It just gives more options to people that maybe want to play with people who play on PC or, God help you,
Xbox.
you play on Xbox or Switch. So at least you got some options to chat to your buddies.
Yeah.
And that's never a bad thing.
No, 100%. For me, it's actually a huge thing because I used to play Warzone with my friends on PC, and my PC isn't very good, as I think everyone knows, because it takes me a lot longer to edit, a lot longer to render, than my uploads cracked. But, yeah, my PC was bad, so I couldn't really play the game. I'd play it in low settings on like 15 FPS. So I would play on my PlayStation, which meant either I couldn't voice chat with them, or I didn't have in-game audio. It was one or the other. It was lose-lose. Whereas now, with this integration, I can voice chat with them with my nice headset, Pulse, 3D audio, and still get all the audio from the game. It's phenomenal. I can finally play games with my PC mates on my PS5.
Yeah, exactly. And we got to remember this is only beta. So this will come to the rest of us in a wider release down the road. So it won't be too long now if it's in beta. And unless there's some crazy bugs that are caused or it doesn't work quite right, I can see this being around the corner.
I'll find them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They should really have got you in that beta program, shouldn't they?
The bug hunter's out.
Yeah, they should have done that. But yeah, looking forward to hear more on that.
Brilliant. All right, moving on. Philip Hoy, coming over to you.
Hello.
The song I would like to hear come out of your lips is... Good song. I don't know what it's got to be just called Barbie Girl, doesn't it?
Oh, from Aqua.
Yeah.
Aqua, Barbie Girl?
Yeah.
Yeah, we all know it.
Yeah. Everyone knows it.
I know the lyrics-ish.
I would like to hear that in the style of a caveman. It's like an ooga booga. Like an ooga booga just come out of there. Just got unfrozen caveman.
Me, caveman.
Where's he going with this? Where's he going with this? Where's he going with this?
We'd go me, Barbie.
Me, caveman. Me, a Barbie girl. I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world. Ooh, ooh, life in plastic. Ooh, it's fantastic.
I don't know where that went. But anyway, quick news. PlayStation makes history, guys, with a record $8.8 billion earning in holiday 2022. Now, guys, this is the best performance for PlayStation ever, and it has shattered all previous records. So PlayStation, it is riding high. Now, swinging it back around, Spence, because you put me in a Barbie world.
Yeah. What's your favourite place?
It's my favourite place.
Yeah.
It's so pink and plastic.
It's fantastic.
And it is fantastic. Now, I'm thinking of songs that everybody knows, okay?
Yeah, thank you.
And there's one, pretty obvious one. And it's a Queen song, Bohemian Rhapsody. Now, I want a couple of lines from that one. You can pick any line you want. And there's a lot of them, a lot of good ones.
I would like that with an impression of Dr. Evil from Austin Powers, please.
Oh, that's funny. Okay. Mama just killed a man. Don't know the words.
Put a gun
Put a gun
his...
against his head. Pulled the trigger, now he's dead. Mama. Mm.
What was the?
I like that.
There's a bit of Dr. Evil,
That
mate.
sold me
A
on
bit
that.
of Dr. Evil.
That sold me.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Loved it.
Quick news. Quick news. I can't do it anymore. What am I doing now? Activision. Ooh.
Juicer.
Quick news for all you Call of Duty fanboys out there. There's 3 on this show, 2 very big ones. We're all looking forward to this news, so let me relay the information to you. Activision reaffirms a full premium Call of Duty release for 2023, rumored to be created by Sledgehammer Games. Also, big news. Call of Duty Season 2 has been announced, and we have some information. There's ranked play, there's raids, new multiplayer maps, and new game modes. Infected, gun game, grind, drop zone, all or nothing, and a personal favourite of mine, One in the Chamber, coming back from the original Black Ops. Oh, baby. What a time to be a fan of Call of Duty.
Yeah, I tell you what is crazy is that I could have sworn that there wasn't going to be a release this year, especially by Sledgehammer. I could have sworn that it was just going to be DLC for Modern Warfare 2. I thought that's all we were getting. And sure, Season 2's hype. You know, having new maps, Dome coming back is a real big one. And Museum finally coming back from the beta. Like, huge deal. Infected's one of my favourite game modes in COD ever. Just playing zombies, essentially. So, you know, one person will start off with a knife, and they're the zombie, and everyone else has got guns. And then as they kill them, their numbers multiply. It's just the people with the guns left. Really fun, casual game mode that us 3, we can dive on and just, that's a night. You know, it'd be so fun, especially if, like, one of us or 2 of us are, like, last, and the other person's like, I'm behind you, and there's a fucking wave of players coming at them. It'd be class, like, just some dumb fun. I'm really excited by Season 2, which comes out Feb 15th. Mega excited by it. But this Sledgehammer news is the one that's really got me interested. Like, if this is true, then I imagine we'll hear about this at Summer Game Fest, and that's coming in June 8th, I think it is. So we should hear more about that soon. I imagine if that is to be believed. But yeah, happy. I'm super happy about that.
Yeah. Phil, what's your take on this?
Well, I'm a bit of a COD convert, really. I'd taken a big gap in playing COD, and I've come back to this one and really loving it. And I'm a little confused why we haven't jumped back in and completed that raid, guys, because that was an incredible high level of gameplay there.
Hell yeah. As for me, boys, Call of Duty, new game modes. Bless. One Chamber, man. I'm going to play the shit out One Chamber. I'm so excited. Dome. Oh, baby. I'm just keen. I'm keen. I'll always want more Call of Duty. And like you said, this Sledgehammer thing, it's really strange. Because usually it's leaked by now. Usually it's leaked a year ago. But it hasn't. Maybe this is where they stopped the leaks. Definitely not.
They've had the plumber round.
Yeah,
no chance.
Not a chance. But big news, massive news, because I'm like-minded with you. I did not think it was going to happen, but if it does, that's another 60 quid they're having off me.
And it's another thing to add to our list for the end of the year.
Yeah.
Oh.
And COD's a big game too.
Yeah.
It's a big game. We're still playing the last one.
Yeah.
We played it last night.
Oh man. Well, we'll see what happens then.
Anyway, that's enough for Call of Duty. We talk about it too much, let's be real. Moving on, Davey, passing it around to yourself. My song for you this fine, luxurious evening. Something you didn't get to do before, that Phil and I have both done.
Okay.
The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles theme.
And the way I would like to hear the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles intro is in the voice of the Hulk. So I want you to start off as Bruce Banner and then slowly transition into the Hulk as you finish the song.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Heroes in a Half Shell, Turtle Power. So smashing. Quick news. God of War Ragnarok has sold over 11 million copies. Whoa! That's a huge amount. That's like the quickest that any studio in Sony's first party has done that amount. 11 mil. Huge deal since November. Huge congratulations just go out to Santa Monica here. Well done. I mean, the game, we've already spoke about it enough for the past fucking forever on this show, it seems like. So, well done. Well deserved. Who would have thought it? You make a great game, it sells well. It's almost like they're linked. Crazy, isn't it? If only these middling games that come out just could learn from that model,
If
eh?
only someone told Ubisoft in the ear.
Yeah, if someone told Ubisoft, yeah, that would really help. So, Phil, we're coming back around to you to end for the final piece of quick news on this episode. Phil, can I please hear the Captain Planet theme song?
Let's go with Robot.
Captain Planet, he's our hero. Gonna take pollution down to 0. Captain Planet. Quick news. Okay, guys, it's a short one from me because I don't want to say too much and spoil this. But Atomic Heart has dropped a gameplay trailer. And wow. There's not many words for this because it is absolutely fantastic. And I don't want to spoil it for anyone. Go and see it. The link is on my Twitter and we'll also include it in the description of the podcast. Now, guys, I don't know if you've seen this trailer, but it's rather in depth, but I don't believe it gives away too much of the story or the direction of the game, but it does introduce you to some fundamental elements of the game without being specific. So have you seen it?
No, I haven't. Same reason for the game that can't be mentioned for. I was like, well, I'm already kind of in on this. Although saying that, I am a little bit worried as well about Atomic Heart. It looks too good to be true, so I am a little bit cautious. But no, I haven't seen it because I didn't want to be spoiled. Would you say that for me that I should watch this? Do you think it would kind of waylay some of my potential fears that I have with the game, or do you think I'm better in going in a bit more blind?
I think it would make your fears worse because it's incredible. It's really good. Oh. And I don't want it to flop. I really don't want this game to flop because I've been championing it ever since I saw that first snippet where I was like, oh my God, it's the next Portals crossed with a bit of Fallout. It just looks so good. And I want it to be a 10 out of 10 game. So I don't want you to watch it and crush my dreams, Davey. So please avoid it.
Okay, will do. What about yourself, Spence? You seen this?
I haven't. I have not seen it, and for opposite reasons to you boys. I don't have interest in Atomic Heart.
That's wild.
I just don't.
Wild.
I know. I mean,
well, man,
I haven't seen it. I thought it looked good on launch as well, but I wasn't drawn to it. And I'm sure if I did watch more, maybe I would be. But I got too much shit to play. I can't have that happening to me anytime soon. I'm staying clear for my own benefit. It might be phenomenal. It might be great. If it is, maybe I'll get into it then. But I don't need that game right now.
Well, the good news about that is that, Phil, the game comes out pretty soon, does it not?
I've pre-ordered it for your birthday, mate. So happy birthday. You knew it was coming.
I did, yeah.
I've also bought it as well. So yeah, we're going to get it straight away. As long as Shop 2 doesn't do us dirty. So there'll be a little bit of a test because we're giving them another chance. Okay, guys? So let's hope that arrives on release. Otherwise, we're going to be talking some shit about them on the next episode of the podcast when it comes out.
We certainly will, because it comes out, I think, on the 21st of February, I think, if memory serves. So it's a day before VR. So we'll see how that goes.
Can it compete with Kayak VR?
Can it compete with Kayak VR? That's the big question. Yeah, if I fire it up and I fire at Kayak VR, and all of a sudden my arms just they need to get that. They need the feel of speed while I'm scooting down Antarctica. then that time heart might be all over to yourself, Phil. But we'll get there. We'll find out at the time.
Okay, that brings us to the close of Quick News. Quick News. Now, we've had some greats tonight. Spencer has given us the Venga bus in an Irish accent. We've had Bob the Builder as a giggly cheerleader, still makes me laugh, and the Bohemian Rhapsody with a bit of Dr. Evil. $1 million. Davey is never going to give you up. As a dog, he's barked that for you. He wanted it that way, with beer in his mouth. And he's also given us the Turtles as he transitioned into the Hulk. I've tried my best to give you Last Ketchup as a cat. Meow, meow, meow. I've gone into the Barbie world, but back in time as a caveman. And I've also given you a robotic Captain Planet. Now, we always start with the good before the bad. The good means nothing. Little bit for our egos. Now, there's been some particularly good ones tonight. And I want to shout it out straight away. Spencer, you're my pick for tonight because your Dr. Evil cracked me up. And that little afterwards, it was spot on. I loved it. Bohemian Rhapsody, point goes to you, mate.
Yeah, that was a really strong one. To be fair, that was really, really strong. However, it's not my favourite. My favourite, and it's kind of because it's a bit of an underdog, you made it harder for yourself, right, is Phil, it was one of yours, and it was the caveman. Because when the caveman began and he spoke English, I thought, oh no, he's made this so hard. If you just said unga bunga and just done it in the tune, it would have been like way easier. But because you spoke English, it was like immediately like 10 out of 10 difficult. And you pulled it off, as far as I'm concerned. I enjoyed it. I thought it was really, really good. So that was my favourite.
Thanks, mate. This is a proper loving. Spence, who was your favourite?
This is nice. But I guess all of us are getting love tonight, boys, because Davey.
Oh.
I'm passing it over to you. The dog. The dog was really very good.
Oh,
it was really good. There was one part where you made one noise that wasn't definitely not a dog, but you saved it afterwards with the like the little howls at the end, and you ended it nicely. So I'm giving you the win.
Oh, look at this.
Oh, look at that. Sharing it out. We're all winners.
All winners.
Well, one of us is going to be a loser.
Yeah.
Now, my worst. And I think everyone was brilliant. But the one I really disliked, probably because I love the song and I really wanted a good impression of this, was I Want It That Way by the Backstreet Boys for Davey. That's an obvious winner, right? There's a lot to that song. We all know it. We all love it. But I think Spencer messed you up with making you gargle it, and it just didn't come out for me, unfortunately, mate. So, downvote on that one. Sorry, mate.
That's fine. That's fine.
What are you saying, Davey?
Oh, it's coming to me? For me, it's tough because a lot of them, this episode were really good. I thought they were really, really good. I think the only one is a very minor point, but the bar on this one is raised so high, it's got to be minor things. Was the giggly cheerleader for me.
Yeah.
And the reason was, there's nothing giggly about it.
Can't giggle, man.
You're just against your moral
There's no
code.
humour in me. Can't do it.
So I thought it was a great cheerleader. I really loved the Bob the Builder rendition. I really liked.
I built the bee.
I saw you building it and I enjoyed it. No giggles.
No.
And to me, it was just a standard cheerleader. So that's why it gets a mark down in my eyes. Again, very minor. Very minor.
That's fair enough. I appreciate it. I don't. I hate it. I hate you. But it's fine.
It's fine.
I accept it. I
It's
accept
what
it.
it is.
Well, I mean, I can't lose. I'm not picking myself. That's crazy. But the choice is, do I give it to Davey or Phil? Because if I give it to you, Phil, then we all lose. We all win.
We all lose. We all win and we all lose.
And we all lose.
Mm.
And that's never ideal. So I have the choice, really, of all of us do a shot or Davey does a shot. And it's what do I want to choose?
Go with your heart. What does your heart tell you? It's all about integrity on this podcast. It's our brand.
Is it?
Yeah, surely it is. Surely
Definitely not.
All integrity.
Well, my choice. I've known my choice anyway since I heard it. It's not Phil. Yeah, I actually agree with Phil's least favorite, and I definitely, because I did you dirty. It was definitely my fault, and I think you were a bit too focused on not spitting it everywhere, and you looked like a thumb.
Yeah.
But it was very funny, just not a great rendition of the song.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I'll take that L. I've earned 2 shots from
2
this.
shots today. Yeah.
2 shots today.
2's up.
Not a good start for going into this early in. But
Maybe if you make a great argument and we both allow it, we'll let you do one this weekend.
no way. No, I'm not breaking that. I'm not breaking the rules.
Save it.
Save that. Save that magic for episode 70. I need to get through all the nonsense that comes up in your quiz, Spence, so it makes no goddamn sense. Well, let's move it on to Rumour Has It.
Kick it. You wake up with a rumor and you don't want to go. You ask if it's confirmed and they still say no.
Lads, how long has it been since we've heard that theme? We haven't had a rumour for bloody ages. Oh my god, what a fantastic theme. Well done, Phil. Well done.
Thanks, mate.
But the rumour we have today, I think it's only right that I'm the one that brings it in. Last of Us. Oh, baby. Last of Us 3. Oh, bit French there.
Very French.
Next impression in 2 weeks.
Yeah, just me going. Last of Us 3 is rumored to be in production for the PlayStation 5. However, with the PlayStation 6 in mind. So much like the other iterations of Last of Us, which always come out at the end of the lifespan of the console, this one could very well follow suit. Lads, is fucking Last of Us mind? Alright, whoever wants it, speak your mind. Let's just discuss it. Open floor, whatever you're thinking.
Phil, do you want to take this first? Because I always get told that I'm going off for a monologue.
No, you monologue. You monologue.
Oh, there's a lot of love going on this episode. I don't know what it is. We're not punching down today. We're at Thursdays. We're just feeling nice to each other. It's very strange.
This is what happens when we don't drink.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. This. I don't know if I like it. Yeah,
We're all being nice
hate
to
each
each other as
other
if we're
tomorrow.
friends or something.
it's weird. Yeah, it's very strange. Yeah, this rumor. Right. First off, Last of Us 3 in production. 100% true. 100% true. There's no way it's not. Way too big of an IP to leave it. It's not been a complete story yet. I know they could end it here, but they're not going to. They want to see what happens to the Fireflies. Will the cure get made? All that stuff, right? This is all the big questions that are hanging over the series. What's happened with Abby? Who knows, right? All this stuff. So, yeah, obviously it's going to come in. The thing that I'm dubious on, very dubious, when it says it's going to come out towards the end of the life cycle with PS6 in mind, you think, right? PS3, the reason Naughty Dog put The Last of Us at the end was because you had the entire Uncharted trilogy. You had in PS3's lifespan, Uncharted 1, Uncharted 2, Uncharted 3, Last of Us. All from Naughty Dog in one generation. Absolutely insane turnaround. And it was a long generation. You know, it went on for a while. There was the economy just crashed. So the generation got extended and it went on for a lot longer than it would have done. It had revisions and it had, all that good stuff that comes. PS4 then, that went on. That was a long generation. And you had The Last of Us Remaster, which came out at the start. You had Uncharted 4, which is a big-ass project. And then right at the end of the generation, you had Last of Us 2. PS5, nothing. I suppose if you really wanted to be kind, you could say The Last of Us Part 1. Right, so they've done that. That's not the same kind of scale as putting out an Uncharted 4. It's not. Like, sure, it is, they're redoing those assets, but the blueprint's already there. That's most of the work done for them, right? In terms of all the planning stage beforehand. All they have to do is just go in and just make it prettier. They didn't add any new gameplay features to it or anything like that. So they didn't really do a full-scale overhaul to it. So it begs the question, there's no way, or surely not, they're not going to be working for like 6 years on just this. No way. No way. The only other potential is, I suppose, that there's the multiplayer game that's coming out. I guess we'll have to see how long that is, how big it is. I'll tell you what, I will be disappointed, though, if we go this entire generation from Naughty Dog and all we see is a multiplayer version of The Last of Us and Last of Us 3. I'll be fucking gutted.
You will be until they announce Last of Us 3.
Yeah.
Then you'll go, oh, Naughty Dog, oh.
6 years, though, without them doing, like, anything really substantial. I mean, multiplayer could come out, it could be balls to wall nuts, right? It could be insane.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll eat these words, but yeah, that's the only part of it that I am not sold on, and I think is not true at this stage.
Phil, you got anything to rebuttal or anything to add?
Not really to rebuttal, because I agree with the vast majority of what Davey's saying there, but looking at this piece of news, it's just something of nothing for me. It's obvious that we're going to get another Last of Us, right? This IP is blowing up at the moment, and it has been for a long time, and it isn't going to stop anytime soon. We're going to keep getting the Last of Us stuff, right? Could it be movies? We don't know. Where's it going to go next, right? The TV show is incredible. It's one of the best things that on TV at the moment, and, you know, it's beating a lot of other things that other people watch, right? Will this be released on PS5? Okay, so it can be released anytime. It's not news, is it? We're just going to get it on PS5. Okay. Is it built for PS6 in mind? Sure. It just means that we're going to get two versions, just like every other game these days. Console games live a lot longer, and it's just no surprise to me that it's going to live and prolong across console generations. It's something or nothing, guys. It's what I was expecting all along.
So do you think it's going to come towards the end of the gen then? That would make it like kind of sing and fit in with a PS6 kind of model? Because I imagine that at this stage, I'll be highly surprised if they've got any idea what the specs are yet. Surely we're at least 4 or 5 years out from now, aren't they? Why would they start planning that in now at this point? Isn't that a bit too early?
To me, it just makes no difference, does it really, right? Where they release it. Because it's always going to have future consoles in mind, because they've realised that it's profitable to release cross-generation. So even if it's released tomorrow, which it very much isn't going to be, it's still going to have PS6 in mind, because we always look towards the future. It would surprise me more if they said they had PS3 in mind.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Obviously, it's going to have PS6 in mind. And the future, it's going to have PS7 and PC probably.
Yeah, I see what you mean. In terms of being able to make it so it's easy to to make it a little bit more malleable, so it can work with multi.
We're not in the PS3 generation where we're going to be moving dramatically on chipsets. I can't imagine it's going to be that different, the PS6 from the PS5. That would be my prediction anyway. And I'm assuming the guys at Naughty Dog, they know a little bit more about what they're talking about than me. And they're saying, yeah, sure, it's going to work on the PS6. It's obviously going to work on the next console.
I have rebuttals. What I would say, boys, is with this whole PS6 in mind, it's not a case of knowing the specs of the PS6. Sony have probably already planned on features they want on the PS6. Because we've already got instant load times and insane graphics and frame rates. That's fine. I don't think games are going to get much prettier than they currently are. I know I've said that, and everyone says that. People said that on the PS3.
Yeah, I was saying it back on PS2, mate, when I saw MGS2.
Yeah, but it's different. Games are actually realistic.
I remember when we went to CES, so Consumer Electronics Show, yonks ago. I think I was 20, right? So it was yonks ago. And I remember there was a GeForce booth, and they were demoing one of their new graphics cards, and it was a little fairy walking along a tree branch. And I remember my dad looking at that, and he was like, that's so realistic, as if it's there. And the guy from the booth literally went and just pointed out all the flaws, even though he worked for Nvidia. So graphics will always get better, right? I don't buy that we're at the limit of graphics at the moment. For everybody, pretty much, Callisto Protocol is the best we've got at the moment?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
Probably on PS5. It's going to get better than that. I can see flaws in Callisto Protocol. I've only spent, half an hour in the game. There's definitely things that could be improved. I don't feel like we're at the peak, so I disagree there, Spence.
That's fair enough. I mean, it's either Callisto or it's Last of Us Part 1 is the peak graphically. Last of Us Part 1 is insane looking. And even like Last of Us Part 2 is better looking than most of the PS5 games we got. And just imagine how good Last of Us 3 is going to look at the end of the gen. It's going to be insane.
Yeah,
I don't think that game is going to be pushed much further in the future, which obviously I might be wrong. But I think the information they have with PS6 in mind is probably more related to features of the PS5 console itself and the controller, the handset. Because I think Sony are quite keen on upgrading handsets at the moment. With all the new features we got on the DualSense and now the Edge coming into play. The new controller we get for the PS6 is probably fucking... I'd read your mind. I don't know what it's going to do. It's going to be insane. You won't have one. You'll just play with your thoughts. It's going to be silly. But that's what's going to happen, I think. And for this to be in production, I think it will be 6 years of nothing. And then Last of Us. Because Last of Us is so huge. And obviously they're going to put Part 2 on PS5. Same as they did with Part 1.
Yeah.
They will. And the influx of fans they're going to get from the HBO show, which is more and more popular every day in the millions. They have no reason to make anything else because they know Last of Us 3 will dwarf it.
Oh, you're such a dickhead because you're probably right as well. They could probably just say, like you say, right, maybe this summer or this year. I know we're getting news this year, so let's go on the basis that this year we get a multiplayer game out. A year on from now, 2 years from now, you get Last of Us Part 2 redone to coincide with season 2 of the
factions
of the show.
Oh yeah.
And then 2 years after that,
Part
3. Fuck me, what a waste!
It's not a waste.
I mean, are you
going to play it again?
Oh yes, I will. I will play Last of Us 2 again. I will.
Will you love it?
Yes, I love the. Yeah, I will. I know I will. It's annoying, right? Because Naughty Dog are just that cream of the crop studio.
Yeah.
They're so good. And so you want to see more from them. You want to see the output. Like PS3, we ate so well from them. You know, Uncharted 1 to Uncharted 2 was like a huge step up. And then Uncharted 3 for me just pips it. But it's still that same level of quality. And then Last of Us came out. It's like, fucking hell. Like, this team do not miss, right? They're so fucking good. And to think we might go this entire generation without, like, an Uncharted coming out of them to be, like, the offset from Last of Us is that kind of, like, that other series they do. That would just be really disappointing to me because I adore them. And I know that Last of Us 3 is going to come out and probably be one of my favorite games of all time. There's no reason to doubt that at the moment from what Naughty Dog have put out. But because they put out such high quality, I want to see more. And I know that's really greedy, and that's just something that I want, but I really feel like they could chuck an Uncharted in at any point or a different IP, and I'd be very happy with it.
That was my question, actually, Davey, and you've preempted it very nicely there. That ultimately they're going to take their foot off the gas a little bit with the upscale of The Last of Us 2 for PS5. Now, would it surprise you if they came out with a new IP? They did what they did with Uncharted, with The Last of Us. They're going to come out with something new to blow The Last of Us away, and that'll be Spencer's newest favourite game. You know? Could that happen? Could you see Naughty Dog doing that and blowing us all away?
I really can. I mean, the history here is clear as day. They would go from Crash Bandicoot to Jak and Daxter. Then they go from Jak and Daxter to Uncharted, and then Uncharted to Last of Us. And we don't see Jak and Daxter come back. Obviously, Crash is long gone from being under their stewardship. I could definitely see it. If Uncharted has ended, which it makes sense if it has ended at this point, it ended on such a great place with Uncharted 4, that it's time. It's time to see what else they got cooking. And I think whatever they bring to the table is going to be great. You know, we're going to eat well. And I kind of hope that it's something that's so tonally different for The Last of Us. Just like Uncharted is so tonally different from it. They're a fantastic studio. And whatever they put out, I know I'm going to be eating well.
Lads, I'm sorry to put a damper on it. No way. No new IP. I think there's no chance. I think if we see anything from Naughty Dog this generation that's not Last of Us 3, it will be PS5 ports of the Uncharted trilogy. And I can't imagine it being anything else.
Themselves?
Surely you'd get somebody else to do it, right?
Yeah.
They might do, but I'm not sure. Did they get someone else to do Uncharted 4 directors? Or did they do it themselves?
I don't know. I reckon we Google this.
We might be a Mr. Google.
We can Google it.
Google it. I don't have a fucking clue. Nothing else to do, so that's all ask Google. So, Phil, how did Googling go?
Well, we just had a quick check, and it was developed in-house for PS5 by Naughty Dog themselves, but they got another company in, slightly unsuccessfully, to port over to PC, and that was Iron Galaxy.
Well, boys, I guess my point stands a little stronger then as well. I think that's what we're going to see, is just PS5 ports. If they do anything else, I don't think it's likely we'll even see that. I think they're focused on Last of Us, because they have no reason not to be. But if we do see anything else, it will be a PS5 collection of the Uncharted trilogy, and I would buy it.
Oh, I'd be so disappointed. I mean, would I buy it? Yes.
Would you platinum them?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
I would. Especially for the original Uncharted trilogy, to see those like ground up, they were ground up remade.
Yeah.
Even if they were exactly the same as they were. Yeah, I'd definitely give that a look. I mean, the ones done by Blue Point are great, and they're fantastic remasters in their own right. But yeah, I'd love to see some of those sequences from Uncharted 3 in super, super pretty graphics. That'd be so nice. Yeah, I would be keen for that. I mean, we'll have to watch this space, right? And hopefully, if we go in with that pessimistic view, then we can be surprised.
True.
If anything does come up and they come up with a new IP. As me and Phil said, I wouldn't be shocked to see them come up with a new IP. I wouldn't be surprised at all. And I think it is the generation where they should come out with a new IP. Depending on how 3 goes, could be the end. So you need to have your next thing ready to take over and run with that crown. But we'll watch this space, guys. If you've got any thoughts on this, please make sure to write in pswetrust@gmail.com or hit us up on the socials. Stop! Topic time! And here we are, guys. We are at the topic, the last part of episode 62. And we got something that's going to be a little controversial, I feel. Certainly something that's going to be a bit of a hot potato. But we are going to be talking tangentially about Hogwarts Legacy before we transition to the main part of this. First off, I just want to say that us as a podcast, we're not Harry Potter fans. So if you're wondering why we haven't covered Hogwarts Legacy, what, you say you're a fan? You've done nothing but shit on it for months.
Oh, the game, Hogwarts Legacy, yeah. But Harry Potter, I like Harry Potter.
You like Harry Potter, do you?
Yeah, I've read the books, watched the films. Yeah.
Oh, proper little pothead.
Yeah, I like Harry Potter.
Oh,
We
bloody
got a fanboy.
Oh, we got a fan. All right, okay.
He's coming out live on the show.
He is. He's finally admitting it. Well, I mean, like back in the day, I read the first 4 books when they came out at the time, and then just stopped reading, really. I think I don't know why.
Never read again.
Yes, I just
Spoiled reading.
Yeah, you reached peak literature.
Never
Everything else is
opened a
downhill.
book again.
I just didn't read anymore. I think it was just there was such a big delay until the 5th one. I was like, oh fucking, do you know what? I'm done with this now. I've moved on to other things. My sister's interested in it. She was 3 years younger, so I was like, oh, it must not be cool for me to like this anymore. You know, I'll go on to other things. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that we haven't been championing Hogwarts Legacy in any way, shape, or form. But I am glad to see that it's come out to stellar reviews. It's currently sitting at an 85% on Metacritic. And from what I've been seeing online, the gameplay looks fantastic. That flying around on the broom looks class. The magic looks great. And the issue is, guys, that playing this game has caused Twitter to just erupt. And it's burst into 2 different camps here. Now, this doesn't impact us at all because we're not actually playing this and I've got no interest to play it. But I think it's something that would be very nice to be able to get your opinions on. So Twitter is separated into lines of, if you play this game, you are transphobic. That playing this, because it's linked to J.K. Rowling, who has come out with some things that are certainly questionable, to say that's for damn sure, that then means that you support her and you support her worldviews and you're a bad person. And then the other side is saying, well, fuck you, I like Harry Potter. And I'm going to play it. And that's the 2 camps. Now, I don't think there's a right or wrong on this. I think that anybody can go into something with their own personal opinion and you take that however it is. The big point of anything, though, is to have a discussion about it and to see how someone feels. And I think ultimately, you make your own mind up for whatever you choose to believe or whatever you choose to do in your actions. You're responsible for those, nobody else. You don't have to answer to anybody. Nobody who plays this, I don't think that anybody who chooses to play this should get shit from anybody. It's not your fucking business. If they choose to play it, cool. That's on them, right? You don't see people go out and the same people who go out and say, oh, this transgender, I won't support this, will go out and buy a Chinese-made game. And the Chinese are doing unbelievably bad stuff around the world. Or they'll go out and they'll be tweeting that off their phone, off their fucking iPhone, which has lithium farmed by 6-year-olds in fucking third world countries. You can't be morally right on everything. You can't take the high stance and be like, oh, blah, 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 you shouldn't do this, when no matter what you're doing, it is affecting somebody else around the world, 100%. From either the clothes that you buy to the food that you bring in, whatever it is, right? You cannot do everything on a moral high ground. And so for me, I always come at this thing where it's a case of, can you separate, and this is the big question here, can you separate art from artist? Can you appreciate something without having to subscribe to their worldview? I suppose that's the kind of big question here. And then tangentially linked to that, do you think that personally for yourself, would it matter to you, like this kind of shit? Would it stop you from playing a game, seeing the potential outrage that's there? Whoever wants to take it first.
Does anyone else feel as if we've just walked into a segment on Jerry Springer? It's almost like Jerry's final thought. You know, at the end of the show where it just sums everything up really nicely, stands against a brick wall, chills back. This is Davey's final thought. But actually, it's bringing us into a discussion. Now, before I answer this one, because it's pretty highbrow for us, and I'm glad we're not drinking, because it'd be very easy to slip up having this discussion.
It would.
I just want to bring some attention over to some comedy value before we start. Because on Twitter, it made me laugh so much. I was scrolling through, and they were like, the new Hogwarts Legacy game looks great. And I think it was a GTA mod with a guy jumping on a broom and he's going around just blasting people. It looked absolutely brilliant and it made me chuckle. It really did. So if I can find that, I'll try and include it in the description of the show as well, because have a chuckle at that, because this is this is a tasty little discussion here.
Yeah, it should be. So who wants to go with this? In fact, I'll just chuck it over to one of you. Spence, let's chuck it over to you.
I got strong opinions, that's why I was a bit like, I'll keep quiet for the meantime. Right, if you like Harry Potter, play fucking Harry Potter. Who gives a shit? All these people coming out saying you're transphobic if you play it. You're transphobic by association because you're funding a transphobe. For one, she's nothing to do with the game. She has nothing to do with the game. I'm sure she's earning money from it, sure.
Royalties, yeah.
Yeah, royalties. But who cares? All these people on Twitter are complaining because it's easy. None of them are going to Harry Potter World in Universal Studios and holding up pitchforks and rioting and anything like that. Anything that requires effort, they're going to be like, oh, it's too much effort, not doing that. But on Twitter, suddenly they can tweet 20 times a fucking minute to kick off. You're not transphobic if you play a game. It's a game. Harry Potter's been about for years. People grew up on Harry Potter. They're not suddenly going to change their mind because the creator's fucking transphobic. Half the people playing it probably don't even follow her on Twitter. Probably don't even like her themselves. But they like Harry Potter. Who fucking cares? I am sick of it, mate. I'm fucking sick of it. I've always been in the mindset of separate it, art from the artist, because there's a Drake Bell had some what was it called? Apparently did some sexual things that shouldn't have been done.
Oh, what? Not kids.
Not kids. But I don't think.
No coming back from that, is there?
No. But he's got a song called Bitchcraft. And is that still in my Spotify library? Yeah, because it bangs. Great fucking song. I don't give a shit about Drake Bell. You do what he does. You go to prison. Irrelevant. It's a good song. I'm not suddenly going to be like, oh, actually, you know what? That song was always shit. It wasn't. It was always good and it still is. But I don't give a shit. Hogwarts Legacy, fucking play it if you want. It's fine. And just, I don't know, don't tweet about it if you are going to play it. But even then, you should be able to. Yeah, it's a good game.
This is the thing. You should be able to. And the thing is, I know it's like a hive mind on Twitter. But the good thing about it is that there's a block button.
There is.
So if somebody does come up and start judging you and saying that you're scum and that you're this and that, just fucking block them and move on. Because to be fair, what are you going to get from that interaction? Absolutely nothing. If somebody has that strong of a worldview that they think that the two are completely linked.
Yeah.
That it automatically, you playing this is a test on your actual character. Then there's a failure in their logic, 100%.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's any need to even involve yourself with that. I think a logical person would ask the question, what is it you like about it, right? And if they're like, oh, I fucking hate trans people, then you'd be like, oh, right.
I mean,
Maybe,
enjoy the game.
Maybe then this is, I'm going to throw this shit at you, right? Because it makes sense. But if they're like, oh, I love Harry Potter. Like, oh, what about J.K. Rowling? I don't really care. Like, I don't care.
It's like people
Fine.
saying, you're funding her. She's a fucking billionaire, man.
I know.
What is my 20 pence going to do? Who fucking cares? No one gave a shit before this. People were like, yeah, J.K. Rowling's a transphobe, whatever. But no one kicked off when people bought Harry Potter merch or bought the movies or read the books. Suddenly this game comes out and everyone's like, oh, it's fucking horrendous, you're a transphobe. No, you're fucking... Oh, I hate it, bro. I hate it.
That's a really good point, though. There was nobody stood outside, or maybe there was and I'm not remembering, but I'm certainly... I don't seem to see whenever I've... in fact, I'm going to the theatre, not this weekend, the weekend after, with the wife, and Harry Potter would be there, the Cursed Child or whatever it is, the one that's the theatre production. I bet you don't see anyone standing outside that.
Not a one.
Stopping people from buying tickets,
Not a
right?
one. But will they tweet about it? Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe, because it's easy. It's easy. Twitter is a great place to complain and have a go at people that you'll never meet. Would they do it in person? Fuck no. All a bunch of pussies. All of you. I understand you've got your ideals and your mindset. That's fine. Let people enjoy what they enjoy and don't suddenly think the worst of them for it. If they do enjoy something that is horrible, fair enough. They just want to fly around and cast some spells. That's it. If they make ridiculous tweets as well, and you maybe use a little transphobic tweet there, and you think, oh, and they playing Hogwarts Legacy. Oh my god, that's a bit bad.
Yeah, it's a bit of correlation.
Yeah, a bit of correlation.
Yeah.
But if they just want to cast some spells, fly about, and drink some potions, let them do it. I hate it, man. I feel so passionately about it as well.
No, that's good to feel like that, and I think it's something that unfortunately there's a lot of places where they're having to justify their coverage of the game. And this is what kind of pissed me off a little bit, was I went onto IGN, when I saw the scores come out, I thought, fucking hell, it's done really well. Like, fair play to it, you know? It's not very often you get like a licensed game that is actually great, you know? Or, you know, coming at 85% Metacritic, strong, you know, that's really strong. And so I went on there, and I went on IGN, and there's the full review about the game, and I thought, brilliant, you know, they've just covered the game for what it is, the game. And then right at the end, massive paragraph all about J.K. Rowling. And I thought, what the fuck does this even have to do with it? Like, I know they feel they have to add that, but it's not linked. Like, I cannot see, if she'd been there and she was like, produced by, written by, and it was all JK, fair enough, right? Then you've got that such a close bond. But where it's just literally, it's the license. Like, it's like fucking Tolkien. Tolkien apparently is racist as fuck. And you don't see shit going off about... You don't see anything, really, about the fact that there'd be a new Lord of the Rings game. People are like, fucking racist he was. You're like, where is he racist? Tell me a black hobbit. You're like, oh. Actually, yeah, there's no black characters in that entire thing, right?
Yeah.
You know, I'm totally with you on this. Like, I'm totally with you. I think that in terms of separating art from artist, it's on an individual level. And I get some people can't. My wife's one of those. If we listen to a song by, say, Lost Prophets comes on or whatever, she can't listen to it. Me, I'll fucking listen to Last Train Home every fucking day. That second album's an absolute banger. It doesn't bother me. But some people, their mind gets cast back to those events and they cannot separate it. And I completely understand. And I think, fair enough. You know, that's on you. That's your personal take. But then I wouldn't, if somebody came at me and said, oh, Davey, you should not listen to this. Or you're scum because you listen to this.
I'd be like, why?
Yeah. It's just
why?
It's my fucking business. Like, it doesn't hurt you, me listening to it, does it? You know,
the thing is, right, also, if imagine there's a Lost Prophet song that they didn't even know it's Lost Prophets, you're like, isn't this a good song? They'll probably be like, yeah, it's really good. Then you're like, it's Lost Prophets. They're like, oh, no.
Yeah.
No.
And I mean,
it's like, why the sudden switch? Why?
And let's be real, that guy did, like, Ian Watkins did, like, the worst thing, like, imaginable. It was like, It was fucking, as soon as you diddle kids, it's game over. There's no coming back from that. And I'm a father, so it hits even worse, right? You feel like even more like kind of repulsion. But it just doesn't enter my head. And it could be that maybe ignorance is bliss, right? And it just doesn't go in. And so therefore, those thoughts don't come to mind. And maybe other people are more empathetic or whatever it is, and it does kind of spark that in them to maybe feel like that. I think that's totally fine. The big thing about it is just not to fucking preach and judge. I think that's a big thing. Just to live and let live is such a big thing. It's the same way with, and religion's very much like this as well. People can believe whatever they want. I don't give a shit what anyone believes or what they like or who they love or whatever it is, right? It doesn't make a single difference to my life whatsoever. But you don't need that shit shoved down people's throats either. You know, like, this thing, just leave people alone and do what you want to do. And everyone would be happy. But for some reason, Twitter makes that impossible to do. And it feels like as if this is a real kind of push and a big wave against people for being able to act a way they would do, where they'd want to stream this, or they'd want to play it, or they want to talk about it and share their stories. And they feel they can't because the mob will get them. Where in reality, that's probably a very minority view. And I'm sure we'll see this when we get to the chart data in a month. And it's number one. Because there's no way this game ain't going number one on the chart. There's no way. No fucking way. But you've been quite quiet on this, Phil, while me and Spence have been having a discussion. What are your thoughts on any of this? Have you got anything you want to say?
I kind of felt the passion there through the screen. Obviously, I'm in a different country talking to you guys, and I didn't want to interrupt your flow. But I completely agree with both of you. You know, throughout life, there has always been terrible people doing amazing things. And should we forgive them for those terrible things that they do? No. But should that influence our choice on enjoying the incredible things that they've produced? No, it shouldn't. Look at Damien Hirst. He was a bully, but his art, it stands up. He's one of the most famous and most recognizable artists in the world. You spoke about Lost Prophets. Ian Watkins, again, did some terrible things, but his songs, pretty damn good. Michael Jackson, you know, the list just goes on and on and on of terrible people that have produced amazing things. And ultimately, for me personally, I don't let it affect me. I just enjoy what I enjoy, you know? And that's my standpoint. It's a simple one, but I think you guys have said the vast majority of what needs to be said on this topic.
Well, it's good to know we're all at the same point. But I tell you what, I would love, and I would absolutely love, and especially to have get you on the show, have a debate, be able just to talk through and try and understand a different viewpoint. If we're all very much on the same, come down the same line as this, then it would be nice if somebody does listen to this and they feel like, oh, they don't get it. Like they can't see what I'm seeing kind of thing. I would love to discuss it with you, because it would be something where we could hopefully both learn from the experience. You know, if I could try and empathize to what somebody else feels or their life experience, that would be useful. And especially, you know, it's just nice to have a conversation and to cross the lines. And generally, even if you are diametrically opposed on two different things, having a conversation is always nice, because at least you can understand where somebody else views. Even if we don't agree, you can at least understand. And I think that's always a good thing, to have that understanding. So if you feel that way, please reach out. Let me know. You can reach out to us on the Twitter, onto the podcast, onto the email, or you can just message any of us DM. DMs are open for all of us. Slide on in. Get on in there. Get on in between those DMs. Slide on in. I'd love to discuss it with you guys. I really, really would. So, on that deep end to an episode, a very serious end to the episode for a change. I know.
This has changed, isn't it? This podcast.
I know it has. This episode's been been very, very serious of it. It's almost professional to that level. Nah, not quite.
We were doing impressions earlier of the Venga Boys. Come on.
Yeah, that's true. This has been episode 62, listeners. I hope you've enjoyed the show. If you have, you know what you need to do. You need to open your window, lean out, not too far. Don't put yourself in danger, just far enough that your voice will carry across the plains in front of you, and you just shout, "Oh, I fucking love episode 62 of In PS We Trust." And then what you do is, on the other hand, you slap up a QR code, giant, on the screen, massive, so that anybody else can see it and scan it. Not much to ask. Or If you can't do that, just a 5 stars. Chuck a 5 stars on Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast services. It helps us grow and find a larger audience. If you're on YouTube, then hi. All you need to do, put a like on the episode, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and feel free to write in the comments, let us know your thoughts on anything we discussed today. Really, really appreciate all of you. Now, that brings our show to an end. I am Davey.
Me, Phil. Me, King.
You have to bring it up at the end. I've been Spence.
Take care, guys.
Peace and love.
In PS We Trust is hosted by Davey, Phil, and Spencer. You can write into the show via our email, pswetrust@gmail.com. Our Twitter is @InPSWeTrust. To find each of us online, follow our Twitters, @SSJDavey, @PhilipHoy, @SpenPie_. Thank you for listening. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other. See ya.